Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
What's up, everybody? Big Herc Fresh Out. You tuned into another episode of Prison Talk. I'm here with the homie Bounce Back B, and we're kicking some game for you guys. You know, I like to get a different perspective on different things. You know, I get a lot of questions from you guys, and it's always good to hear it from somebody else who's been through the system, had a different experience. Now, B, how big are drugs and cell phones in the prison economy or in the scheme of things? I know out here in California or in the feds, cell phones is a major driving economic force, and drugs run the prisons. I mean, is it the same in Florida that you experienced?
Hands down. There's two things that run the prison system. It's economy, cell phones and drugs. While I was in, the biggest thing, dollar-wise, like if somebody was trying to make money or whatever, the biggest dollar-wise was cell phones. You know, you had a $20 flip phone that people were bringing in. They're getting $400, $500, $600 for that. Get a smartphone in, $700, $800. You know, just depending on what type of phone you were
bringing the phones in?
Hey, yeah. So
we know. We don't even have to say.
No, there's different things.
Yeah.
So, and it depends on where you're at. This is what I know, and I know for sure about cell phone games. So you got guys that are bringing them in, and I'm not telling anything on camera that's going to go back and like, oh damn, we figured something out.
Yeah.
They know everything that I'm telling on camera right now. You got guys that'll go to visitation. Their wife, their girl, their woman, whatever, will come. She'll have the phone in her purse. She walks up in there with the phone in her purse. You know what I'm talking about with the purse, right? And they got it in their woman purse, right?
Exactly.
So
woman
they come
pocket.
in, yeah. They come in, they bring the phone in. It's already wrapped up, it's prepared. Buddy then takes the phone. You know, she removes it from the purse at some point in visitation and gives it to the dude. The dude then takes and turns and puts the phone in his wallet. The keister.
Yeah.
He puts the phone in his ass.
Prison pocket.
Prison pocket. Oh God, what happened? Oh no. I had a bunkie. And this dude ended up being a real fucking piece of shit too. He extorted me when I got put in confinement because of him. He threatened to tell me some bullshit, right? And I'm sitting in confinement with a cell phone while he's threatening to tell me, sending me a kite. I'm like,
that you have the phone.
Yeah. He knew I had it in there because I had this fucking hiding spot built into an accordion file. So he knew I had it in there, and he's like, yeah, motherfucker. Anyways, that's a whole nother story right there. But this dude was probably hands down the most talented suitcaser in prison. This is no bullshit. We get the phone sent to his girl. He would put two flip phones together. And you know how big a flip phone is.
Yeah.
He put two fucking flip phones in his ass at one time. The man would come back and his eyes would be totally red. Like blood vessels about bust.
That's a serious...
man, I promise you, and I know because I'm selling the motherfucker. The motherfucker bringing them back. He's like, I need the room. Yeah, go ahead, handle your shit, and give me my shit.
Oh, he was a gangster. Now, people don't understand, when you leave visiting, what do they make you do?
Man.
Squat and cough.
When you come to visit, you're going to get naked. You're going to squat, you're going to cough, you're going to lift your shit, they started some old bullshit. It used to just be squat and cough. Now it's bend over the way, spread your cheeks and cough with your butt facing them. And that's something that I never understood. How a man applies for a job where he wants to go watch a man bust his ass all day. But that's a whole nother story as well. But you're going to do that coming in to visit. And then when you leave visit, you're going to do it. Every single time. There's no getting around it. There are guys that work in visitation, like the canteen man or the photo man. They know little routes that they can skate. You know, when certain police are there. But anybody going to visit, your ass is facing to get checked. And if they suspect something, they'll take you to put you in a room with a Ninja Turtle outfit. You just got like a robe with a pan. They turn the water off and they tell you, go on a shit. You ain't coming out there until you shit. But some dudes are talented. They can shit around the phone.
That's a real fucking skill.
That's
I
don't know how they perfect that.
Shit around the phone and
Some
keep
do
pushing.
the shit around the phone and be like, hey, here's your fucking thing of shit. Let me out of here. And he'd come back and got a cell phone on the compound. But that's not the biggest source of introduction of cell phones. That is a big source.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest source. The biggest source, hands down, period, is correction officers and free world people. Okay. Free world people are, you got a bunch of, medical staff.
Yeah.
I know for sure one of them said, the bigger the better. The bigger the better. Like an army tank. Oh my God. The bigger the better. And that's what she got paid more the more she would bring.
Yeah.
So she's like, pack
that thing up, huh?
Pack it up. And in the morning when she get to work, you check the trash can in medical. There'll be a big bomb in there. Yeah.
Oh,
but the biggest source of introduction of contraband, cell phones or drugs, or contraband, any type of contraband, is staff members. Mainly correction officers, and then you got the medical staff. You have classification. Classification is really hard to pull any of them. Mm-hmm. You're not around them as much. But people are people. People can be persuaded no matter what. And
money and economics. 'Cause I talked to a correction officer who worked with another guy who was homosexual, and another guy in prison, one of the inmates had basically buddied up to him and got him to do shit for him. And this dude, the correction officer, made over close to like $250,000 selling cell phones in prison over a year.
Hands it down.
Yeah, they're making money. I mean, and compare that to what they earn regular pay. I mean, fuck, who's not gonna?
I mean, they're making regular pay is allowing them to live paycheck to paycheck.
That's right.
You know, if they move up the ladder, they become a white shirt, they become a warden. You know, then they're making six figures. Mm. But the majority of the prison staff, they're lower rungs, and they're making 40, 50, if they get lucky, 60,000. They're not making a lot of money. You know, they're just living paycheck to paycheck. And if they have a family, you know, the money's just going out the window as soon as they get paid. So money talks, bullshit walks, and they're going to take the money probably 5 out of 10 times. Maybe not that, probably about 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
There's a bunch of them that'll bring it. For sure, hands down. I know. No questions asked, no matter what anybody replies and says. I know, for sure. They're bringing it.
And what's the big drugs in the prisons out there?
So it evolved. It was marijuana. That was like everybody smoking weed. You know, that was the big thing. But drug test. They drug test you. Your ass going in. You go into confinement. You go into the hole. You're gonna sit down for a minute. Nobody wants to just go sit down every time they smoke a joint, right? So the next thing that came along was K2. So it's a synthetic weed. They call it Spice, K2. But the game changed on that. I know personally, for sure, somebody was spraying it. So K2 is synthetic, right? So they take like potpourri, and they spray the chemical on it that gives them the synthetic high.
THC?
It started out as like synthetic weed. It evolved from there because they started spraying other shit on there.
Wow.
They started spraying other shit. And the reason for that is on the compound. They say, hey, buddy over there's got, whatever, some green shit, right? That is okay. But buddy over there's got the black shit. They call it spider web. And people are falling out on that. When the word spreads, one person says, buddy fell out, everybody wants spider web. They don't want this shit over here no more.
So they want to fall out.
They want to fall out. They want to flap around. They want to, I can't breathe, take me to medical. That type of shit. They're looking for that.
Wow.
And that's real. That's just what they're looking for. I'm not sure why they're looking for that. If it's like a mental escape, you know.
Well, it's almost like a person doing heroin. They're like, oh man, the people, somebody overdose. Where is it at?
That's what they want. Yeah. The shit that's making them overdose.
Yeah.
So it evolved into the synthetic drug, right? And now I'm still in contact with some friends of mine that are doing life sentences that have been down for 15, 20 years. They know everything that's going on. And now they're saying the game's changed on that. Let me back it up for a second. I know somebody that was making the spice, K2, sending it to her dude, and she personally told me she was spraying rat poison on the shit. She was trying to, personally told me that.
Damn.
She sprayed, you hear people say, oh, they spray rat poison on shit. That's just what people say.
Yeah, you hear
this. She told me, and she's probably going to see this video, so I would never ever say her name. She told me she sprayed rat poison on it. And dudes are smoking this shit.
Wow.
They're smoking it. With reckless fucking abandon. They don't give a fuck. Give it to me, I'll smoke it. If it's going to fuck me up, I'll smoke it. So people are chasing what's going to fuck them up absolute most. And something that's on the streets that costs $20, they might end up breaking it down so heavily, they get $800, $1,200, maybe $2,000. It depends on where you're at. If a compound's dry, prices skyrocket. Supply and demand. But so now the drug has evolved. There's still a little bit of K2 and spice around. Now everybody's looking for Molly. But what
Molly in prison, huh?
Molly, but it's not like the Molly where. Well, here's the funny thing. Well, I always knew of Molly as hanging out with your girl.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
Getting freaky. You got the little bra, get a little Molly.
It's an erotic
get a little,
sex thing, right? But it's fucking, who the fuck wants to hang out with a bunch of guys eating ecstasy or Molly? Who wants to do that? But guys do it. They're doing it. They're doing it in there. And now that's a big thing. But what the guy is telling me, what my homeboy is telling me is, it's not regular Molly. They're putting meth in it, methamphetamines.
Wow.
And so when they're doing it, they'll be up for 3, 4, 5, 7 days at a time. When a person stays up and is impaired, is high for 7 days, at this point, their mind's playing tricks on them. They're delusional. They're seeing shit. They're hearing shit. They're getting paranoid. He said, man, everywhere you look around the dorm, dudes are just standing with their back against the wall. They're looking at each. It's like a Mexican standoff in the fucking dorm. Everybody's looking at each other. They're like waiting on one person to make the wrong move. And he's like, everybody's paranoid. And I was talking to a guy recently. Well, I was talking to him. He's like, dude is standing here with his ear sliced almost off. His ear is dangling. I tried to get him to get me a video of it, but the police ended up coming. So he said they ended up taping dude's ear back on, like putting some glue and tape on it. They taped the man's ear back on in order to prevent the police from coming, because that's one thing you're not telling.
Yeah.
One thing that for sure in prison in Florida, your ass ain't telling. You won't ever. I don't care if they just...
Where you get the drugs from, you ain't saying shit.
If they just off buddy right there in front of you, no matter what it is, no matter what, you don't tell. You don't tell. You just go eat lunch or go take a nap, go lay down. Mind your fucking business. You don't tell, no matter what. So people aren't telling. Buddy got his ear sliced. He's like, man, the dude had a sword. He called it a sword. He said the dude had a sword and hit Buddy in the head and sliced his ear. And the man's ear was hanging off. And they tried to bandage it back on. But eventually, you got to go to chow. You got to come out of the dorm. And they see him, Buddy, hey, whoa, what what happened here? So they raided the dorm. My buddy who was telling me about it, he lost his phone during that raid, but he's like big plug, so no matter where he's at, he's always new phone. And I talked to him a few days later. He couldn't get the video. I tried to get him to get video of it. He's like, man, they bomb rushed the dorm. He lost his phone. Everybody got moved. So.
And what kind of money would you say is being made in a prison off of drugs a month? I mean, roughly, because I know people think like, oh man, how they don't have that much money in prison, this and that. Tell them like, how much money can a dude is making in prison off of drugs?
That's so. For anybody that says that dudes are in prison can't make money, shit.
They have no clue.
Green Dot, prepaid credit card, or any of those prepaid credit cards, that's the lick now. People, hey, you want this? Tell your people to send the money. As soon as they can verify the money's on the card, here you go. So there's dudes in it. I know a dude now that's made hundreds of thousands sitting in prison. For sure, hands down, dude's made a ton of money. But on average, somebody that's just hustling. So the drug trade is not necessarily ran by like groups. If you got a plug, if you got a way to get it in, you can get it. And people will allow you to sell. But if you're weak, if you show fear, if you're just, oh, my girl will bring it and you can get it and slide it in. And people know you're a little buster. People know you're cheesy, flimsy. They can push you right out. They're going to come and take that. You ain't fixing to know. You can be running around the compound like a big shot. But, it could be as small as somebody's just getting canteen money to somebody that's actually making thousands. So there's definitely a big money in there.
Wow. There you have it. From Bounce Back B, man, the real talk about the drug game, cell phone game, and the prison system. You guys think we be bullshitting. This is real talk, man. Real shit. Big Herc prison talk.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.